All right, here we go. And you're live, Lois.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Happy belated Easter. I thought I'd have my little Easter egg scenes behind me from that, but let's get started real quick here. Have you ever heard the expression that the answer you get depends on who you ask? When I'm speaking to agents from other real estate companies, there's a majority, I would say, that are telling me that the market has stopped. They're down. They're just waiting for it all to get over. But do you realize that the agents in our offices of Winter Park in Orlando, in the past 12 days, you've written 89 new deals. You have not lost a step. You have not lost a beat. You guys are amazing. So you definitely are sending the right messaging to your client and your sphere, and it's working for you. Because if you were telling them doom and gloom, and you were not figuring out a way to show them property and write contracts, you would not be enjoying writing all those deals today. So kudos to you. So where I don't want us to hit a snag is in the financing side of the transaction. There's a lot of moving parts in the mortgage industry these days. There's also a lot of information and a lot of misinformation out there. If there's one thing I can instill into your thought process is to confirm the details of what you're hearing. In other words, trust but verify. So anytime you hear the words all or everyone, you need to stop and get accurate details. Because there's thousands of lenders in the market, and it's impossible for anyone to know everything about everything that's going on out there. So I want you to have some trusted go-to resources. Today, our lending partner, Guaranteed Rate, is with us to walk through some of their programs that should be able to assist you in making some more deals happen, and perhaps even be a very strong component in saving some of your shaky current deals. So I'm going to turn the program over to Renee, our fearless leader of Guaranteed Rate. She's going to do some introductions for our officers for Winter Park office and Orlando office. And she'll also be taking some questions that Erica will be reading off at the end of the session. So you're going to have a chat section that you can enter your questions. Then I will wrap it up before we all sign off for the event today. So Renee, take it over.
Okay, thank you. Good morning. Thank you, Lois, for setting up this meeting. I think it's really important and critical right now in these times. And hopefully I can answer all of your questions and concerns about financing in today's environment and moving forward. First of all, I'd like to introduce that I know we haven't been able to obviously get everybody to meet in person, but I have added 2 new people to the Orlando staff, and I'm proud to introduce them both. Mike Floyd, who came highly recommended to us actually by Don Bledsoe. They've worked together in the past for many years. So welcome, Mike, and he's covering Don's office and also going to help cover Winter Park. I have also added Garrett Smith to the team. Garrett has worked with builders in the past and other realtor relationships for many years. Great, well-seasoned loan officer again. So you have 2 great partners to work with in both of your offices. So I'm proud to introduce them both, and we'll be certain that you have all their contact information going forward. Garrett just completed all of his training pretty much with us, so he's ready to go this week. And Mike actually has already done a phenomenal job within the first 30 days being here. Has, I think, 6 or 7 loans already on the books with us. So thank you so much for everybody that's already been participating with Mike Floyd. So I'd like to take this opportunity to kind of go over with everybody. There's so much chatter out there as to who can lend and what the credit score requirements are, and, you know, who has product available. You know, I hear a lot out there that there's no jumbo loans. Your credit score has to be 700 or you can't get a loan today. So there's all sorts of myths out there around that. So let's cover that first. Number one, guaranteed rate is in a different category than most of the other lenders on the street. Okay, we are a mortgage company, number one digital. We've been rated number one digital mortgage lender and best online experience. So especially in these times, digital lending, digital applications are absolutely key. The more digital and technology that we can use today, okay, it's getting us through every transaction that we can accommodate. So we're in the driver's seat in that area. We actually led over and above Quicken Loans or Rocket Mortgage with digital mortgage. We were number one. So wanted to let you know that we stay ahead of the curve all the time when it comes to technology. So we are lending as usual. Okay, there's nothing, we had a couple minor changes. We will no longer lend below a 620 credit score. I think that's pretty reasonable. And in some cases, when the credit score is that low, we might want an extra 2 months reserve. Bond loans, the minimum credit score on bond loans is 680. But every other product is the same. We haven't changed our landscape with what we're doing. We sell direct. So we don't have all the overlays that a lot of the other mortgage companies have, or smaller companies or smaller banks have. They don't necessarily sell direct to Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and Ginnie Mae. We do. So we don't have those overlays. We didn't have to impose raising the credit scores up any higher than that. I know most lenders right now are sitting at about a 680 credit score on FHA loans, 700 with agency loans, and I hear more and more of it each day. So we are not in that category. We have those products available. VA loans, the same, 620 credit score. We won't go below that for VA loans. The other major change right now that everybody has a great concern about is employment verifications. I know you may all be up against some of those with your current lender as well. Verifications of employment need to be done 3 days prior to closing. Some lenders are doing them the day of, which creates an awful lot of havoc. You're never going to close a loan on time if you have to do a verification the day of. So we're doing them 3 days ahead. We have the leniency with Fannie and Freddie to do that. And self-employed borrowers, we're validating that their business is still open 5 days ahead of closing. The other piece around employment verifications is really important. So as you're working with your borrowers, with the current lenders that they're working with, because everybody has to go through the same exercise, be certain. We've gone back into our database of clients currently in the pipeline, making sure we have the right contact information to verify employment. Everybody's working from home. A lot of HR folks are working from home. They're not in their offices. So it's really important that everybody touch with your borrowers, make sure they have this information readily available, let their HR departments know or their contact person know that they're going to be closing on a mortgage. Someone's going to be calling them to verify their employment. If someone is currently on furlough, they're going to be returning back to work. They have their jobs are still going to be there for them, okay? We cannot close on a loan until they return back to work. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac last week implemented that they want the very most recent pay stub right before signing the note. So it's going to be important that they are back to work. So, your worst case scenario is that you may need to extend some sales contracts that you currently have in place now. Validate that they are from their employer, that their job, their position, and pay scale is still going to be available. You want to make sure that's in place too. Otherwise, you could be hanging on to contracts that you may not be able to close down the road. So you want to make sure all of that's happening as well. There's so many people, so many companies being impacted by this event that we just want to cover it every which way we can. And for everybody's protection. Assets, all of their bank accounts, we must have everything updated within a 30-day timeline. We'll go out to 60 days on some assets, but the bank is going to still look for 30 days. So, most recent income and assets for every borrower is very critical right now. So you need to make sure that, that the lender that they're working with, or as you're working with borrowers, get them in touch with us, and we can run through exactly what we're going to need for verification. Very important. Appraisals. I want to touch on appraisals. So our CEO has been working vigorously from day one with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac in regards to how we're going to get around appraisals with, not having to enter into the house. So on purchase transaction, and because it works both ways, sellers don't want to let an appraiser in and vice versa. So where a full interior appraisal is being required, and that's on rare occasions, because pretty much Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac are all allowing desktop appraisals and drive-by appraisals. They have critiqued their underwriting engines to reflect that. Unless the automated underwriting on the file indicates it needs a full appraisal, and I haven't seen any of those yet, except for, like, say, a cash out refi down the road, but that's a different element. We want to focus on purchase. I've not seen any of them require in the last week and a half a full interior appraisal, so that's good news. They have definitely tweaked their engines to work and accommodate desktop and drive-by appraisals. So that's been a big change. Victor was a very big part of working with them directly on that. And in some cases where the full appraisal is required, we have to work that out with the seller and with the appraiser. They can go in with a math, they can go in, they can go in along those terms. We're currently still working on if they will allow for them to do video FaceTime with the seller. Okay, some are saying yes, some are saying no. So we're still working on that. Hopefully we have that critiqued and finished by the end of this week if they're going to totally accept it. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac had misinterpreted that part of how we could do appraisals. So we should have an answer back to that at the end of the week. That would be phenomenal news. The second I get that, I will roll that out to Lois and she can get that out to everybody. But it looked as though, based on their meeting with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac on Friday, they were very willing to do video with the appraiser outside of the house and the seller inside on FaceTime with the appraiser. They can walk through the house. He can snapshot the photos, to accommodate any interior inspections required. We have our own secondary department at Guaranteed Rate and Guaranteed Rate Affinity. So having our own secondary department puts us at a huge advantage versus most companies run their secondary via through a third party. We don't. So our secondary department guys are very sharp. We get an update every day about the market, what's happening with it, who's buying, because right now really it's only the government that's buying loans, okay? He hedges our pipeline several times a day, okay, so that, so that we can offer the best pricing. So he's hedging that pipeline continuously, 3-4 times a day. That's really important. That allows us to conduct our business as normal, staying in front, and offering the best rate and pricing all the time. They are in constant communication. They have a lot of investor contacts, and we are still doing some non-QM loans. Because we are in a different category, being in the top 5 lenders, we had a whole lot more investors than most of the banks did. So we have some credit unions that we correspond with and sell loans to that are doing jumbo loans at phenomenal rates. Yesterday, a 30-year fixed jumbo loan for us was at 4%. And we still have one or two non-QM lenders for non-warrantable condos. So we can, and bank statement loans. So we have 2 investors right now that we're still working with that is still accommodating those type of loans. Again, they're in a different category than the other lenders that have already fallen out. Most non-QM lenders have already exited the business because there's nobody to buy those loans. So the only companies that are still in business with it are companies that have a huge amount of capital behind them. So, for instance, you know, Angel Oak and S&G Capital, and there's been a whole host of them. They all exited the business about 3 weeks ago. So if you hear, yeah, there's none of that business available, please check with us first. If you have a client that falls in that category, that you can't close on a transaction because their lender went out that was doing their loan, check back with us. Call one of the guys, call myself, all right, and let's see if we have a placement for it, because chances are we may. We are still closing all purchase transactions within 30 days, provided we can get all the verifications and everything in line, obviously. We have split up our pipeline. We have two different divisions going on within our division. Purchase transactions are done separately from refinance transactions. We have hired contractual underwriters to do the refinance transaction, because purchase, our relationship with our clients, which are all of our realtors, yourself, that's our top priority. So purchase transactions is our top priority. We've moved the others over to another group. They're going to take longer to close so that we can accommodate every closing needed within 30 days. So I just want to make that clear that we are super busy. Don't get me wrong, we're crazy busy because we're picking up a lot of business that other lenders can't do right now and on the last hour. So we're saving an awful lot of contracts on a day-to-day basis. But we separated that about 45 days ago. Victor brought on another whole team and hired a whole bunch of contract underwriters just to handle refinances. So next is, because we lead so much in digital, with digital mortgage and everything we do from a technology standpoint, we were the first lender to roll out digital closings as well. So we can do what we call a flash close, okay, where we can send the closing package electronically to the borrower ahead of time. They can review all the documents, and all that needs to be signed are about 6 or 7 pages at closing. And those can be done with a notary. All of our affiliated title companies, cooperate with us. It's great. So you can just do a curbside closing with just a few docs that need to be signed, hand them over to the title company. We're done. We are working with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac right now for purchase transactions to do what we call an e-close, where you can give the attorney limited power of attorney for the transaction to sign your closing docs for you. We have the capability to do that in Florida on refinance transactions, but we don't have it on purchases yet. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are still evaluating that technique as well on the purchase side. So as soon as, if they agree to that, I will get that released to you as soon as possible as well. So it takes the edge off of, who has to sit around the table, if you have to even meet with anybody face to face. So we're doing as much as possible and accelerating the technology that we have in place. Does anyone have any questions?
Yes, Renee, I have Narda Miranda. She's one of our agents here at Winter Park. She has 2 questions. First question, relatively easy. What is the current rate right now?
For conforming, it's about 3.25. 3.25 is where it's been averaging for conforming loans at an 80% loan to value. The only time the rate goes up a little higher is if the credit score is lower.
Okay.
So you might be looking at closer to 3.5. Our jumbo rates are running around 4 to 4.125.
Okay, and then the second question, it's a little bit more lengthy. Can you please repeat about verification? You said last verification is 3 days prior?
Right. So 3 days prior to closing, we have to do a verbal verification on every client. So that's where we need to make sure that, or you need to make sure that whatever lender is doing the loan, some of them are doing them the day of. We're doing them 3 days ahead. It's important that you have the right HR contact person to reach out to, and that the borrower should be reaching out to their HR contact as well to let them know they're closing on a loan. Someone's going to be contacting them to verify their employment. Otherwise, it'll hold up your closing.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Renee.
You're welcome.
All right, Lois, you are live.
Thank you. So everyone, you are your client's trusted advisor. This is even more so in these trying times. So let's all work to sharpen our skills. We need to remember to ask questions and trust, but verify. The mortgage market for rates is highly volatile, so make sure you're prepping your clients to get it in writing. Lenders can promise anything they want until the rate is locked and the client has written confirmation. Obviously, we want you to send all your business to Guaranteed Rate. And when they can do the deals, please, thank you so much for doing that. If for any reason they don't have a loan product in their box that fits your buyer's need, please use a major lender. There are companies in our market that simply cannot close some of the loans. And even when they're giving you commitment letters, there's commitment letters out there that they can't close these deals. So we need to back up and save some of those deals as well. But overall, don't panic. There's mortgage money available. And that's why I wanted to bring Guaranteed Rate here for you today. But remember, call Ford or Don or me when you need help with a specific deal. We will reach out and find a way to put the deal back together for you. When I talk about sharpening your skills, I want to make sure that you have a great week and you stay productive. But don't forget, we have Steve Kurland running a CARES Q&A tomorrow on your small business loans, all those packages available to you as an independent contractor. That's tomorrow at 10 a.m. We have Ryan Gorman leading the Thursday at 4 p.m. with your buyers and sellers. So you should be listening to that. Good talking points for you to use with your sphere as well. And then Friday at 10 is Coffee with Ford. Overall, you're outperforming the market. So keep doing what you're doing. Have a great week, and we will talk later.
Thank you,
Bye,
Lois.
everybody.
Thank
Bye.
you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.